there's life outside of racing, and I think that's the biggest part of why I'm so motivated to find a future in the sport.
What's up, guys? This week on the Performance Based Podcast, we have Jonathon Jones. We're looking forward to having him on here, and we're going to start talking about a little bit of everything, talking about TJM and what he's bringing on and what he's starting. And so we're going to talk about all kinds of different things as him as a previous golfer and, obviously Josh Jones's son, but he's making a name for himself in the big leagues as well. So excited to have him on. It's fine. Jonathan's sitting right next to me, but it's fine. So enjoy the show, guys. First time in history, you were early.
Yeah,
Everyone else, there's always someone that's late.
I think I was raised that way, so maybe it's a good thing.
You showed up
Yeah.
25 minutes before the podcast even started. I'm just like, that's how you do
It's a
it.
good look, yeah.
It's
a good look.
This is like model guest, and I'm proud of you for that.
I appreciate that. That
So,
makes me feel really good.
Well, yeah, and at the end of the day, if you're on time, you're late. On time is late.
Mm-hmm.
So
100%.
But hey, I'm proud of you for that. So, I just have to ask, what's it like growing up as a kid as Josh Jones's son? Like,
Oof.
what's that like?
It's cool. The people that he's introduced me to and the people that I get to see him hang out with, I mean, I've seen photos and my own mouth has dropped, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's surreal, but like they teach me the best life lessons I could ever learn.
Mhm.
So I think since I was young, I kind of had to follow his lead in a way.
Sure.
But it's respectful. Like, it's nice for me to watch people have respect for me at a young age. And I think my dad works so hard to get that from them for me. And I think that's going to
Sure.
be big for my future
Yeah.
going ahead.
Well, and it's like you're around so many cool people growing up too, like Kevin Harvick,
Mhm.
and obviously them working together. My phone's blowing up. Cool. But when you look back at pictures,
Mhm.
we were talking about this
We
the
were,
other
yeah.
day with Kevin Harvick, and it's not Keelan in the picture; it's you
Mm-mm.
as a little
I
baby.
think it was
Martinsville, right?
2011, I think.
Yeah,
So
Martinsville.
that was a fun weekend. That was one of my first Martinsville races, and I remember leaving the track with my dad.
Yeah,
25 to go, whatever, and didn't think anything was gonna happen. Martinsville, like quick lap times.
correct.
Whatever.
Yeah, you can see the whole
And
place.
we're
It's
listening
cool.
to. I remember NASCAR radio, and we started heading out of the track, and Martinsville's weird. It's a long way to get out of it.
Yeah.
And we get up to the road, and Kevin takes the lead. So we hurry back down to the track, and next thing you know, he wins the race. And I didn't think anything of it. I was young. I was 5, 6.
Little kid, yeah.
Yeah, and it was so cool to me because it was always so loud, and that was the biggest thing I would take away is it was just this craziness, madness, and I can't remember it myself, but looking back on pictures, like just Kevin had so much love and support from me and my dad. I think they had that connection where he had worked so hard that it had built that family bond, and it's still there today, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah.
But the picture you're talking about,
Yeah.
Victory Lane, there's a picture of the whole team, Kevin, Delana, in their fire suits. And I was in Kevin's arms. It wasn't Keelan. Keelan wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
But that's something that I look back at and I'm proud of because that gives that respect factor of like, hey, this kid, like he's been around it. He knows what he's getting himself into in
Sure.
a way. And when it comes to the sake of my dad, like I'm so grateful for him just for the sake of he worked to get me in that position and he created that family bond. And now I have this drive and this passion to work to get back there with my own kids.
Yeah.
So it's just super special. And I know your sake, like Ricky Rudd.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want to hear about that. Like I want to know like what he's done for you growing up because you get in the car. I'm on the side of the sport where we're outside the car. We're making people get into the car. So I want to hear like what did Ricky do to you at least to motivate you to get in the car, right?
Yeah, it's funny. Kev, we are rolling, right? All right, cool. Yeah, cool. That'd be bad if we weren't. No, but so it's funny. Kevin actually shot a Road to Glory show and with Ricky, and it was the coolest thing. I was sitting there. I was behind the camera, and Ricky they were talking about his old pastimes, his career, and all the wins, and what he's done. And then he was kind of talking about what it meant to be great and great drivers in the sport.
Yeah.
And he was talking about what it takes to be. There's a lot of good drivers, but talking about what it takes to be great. And he had said something along the lines of, And Sam I've watched him his whole career, and I still watch him to this day, and I didn't realize he watches all my races
Yeah,
still.
yeah.
And he
So
said,
cool.
I watch him to this day, and Sam Haswood, that he's in that kind of great category we were talking about. And hearing him say that, it just like hit me out, and I'm just like, holy crap.
And Sam comes on at a very young age and gets into the karting and took to it pretty quickly, and ran the 50cc class, which is the beginner class, and then he moved on up to the kids ranks and nationally ranked and did well, won some big races. And so I kind of started following him and watching him. And again, you're talking about hundreds of kids running go-karts, and there's only a handful that I put them in that sort of great category. And that's what I saw in Sam. He's got there's something unique about him that just makes him, it doesn't take a whole lot, because a lot of guys are good, but it just takes a little. You got to be just a little bit better than everybody else. And he possessed that. And so that he's on this road to, try to get to the top level of sport, and he's doing very well at it.
Ricky Rudd.
Yeah,
the
like someone's
legend.
cheering for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, but it's not a normal person, right?
Exactly. But he wasn't legendary Ricky Rudd to me as a 5-year-old kid. He was Mr. Ricky down the street.
And I feel the same way. Like, it's always been my passion to work in the sport. I think that's like, my number one goal in life. I've been an athlete myself.
Sorry, my
gone through it
doorbell's
all.
going off. Dad's
No,
mowing the
you're
lawn.
fine. But like, my whole life I've seen everything. I've seen from the in-car part to the outside to
Sure.
up in the spotter stand. And like what you say is, to you it's family, to you it's a close friend, it's a motivator, right?
Mhm.
And to me, when I go look at these drivers that I know, like on a close level, like they're friends, they're family.
Yeah.
These guys, they treat me with respect, and they enjoy being a friend of mine, right? And to have that bond just motivates you to see that there's life outside of racing. And I
Mhm.
think that's the biggest part of why I'm so motivated to find a future in the sport, is because I enjoy these guys. Like, they don't just get in the car on Sundays. You know?
It's not this big persona walking through the paddock,
Yeah,
but when you're
yeah.
at home and you're playing cards or whatever it is, or ponies with AJ Allmendinger,
Yeah.
it's just like chill, regular dude.
I mean, they have lives, they
Yeah.
especially the ones with kids. Like,
Yeah.
I get to watch them play in the driveway. I mean, AJ Allmendinger lives down the street from me.
Mhm.
I see him and Arrow out in the driveway having a blast, randomly.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
The fans, they know they have lives, but you don't really realize they are true people too.
It's private because
Yeah.
they have this online persona, and then they have this kind of more private self, which
100%.
is great,
Yeah.
It's cool.
But that's the stuff that like needs to be grown. That's the stuff that needs to be noticed.
For
Like,
sure.
these guys, they build that name on the racetrack, but when they get off the racetrack, they need a name too. They need this,
It's back to dad.
yeah, and it's back to dad, right? So, I mean, I love what these guys, these newer guys, these Carson hosts of ours, like I love the way they promote themselves. And
Yeah.
that's a topic we
Well,
can get
yeah,
into.
what do you think about Carson?
I think it's awesome. I love the way he drives, in a sense of he wants to win every race,
Sure.
right? We have a lot of guys out there these days that do it for the money. They don't
Yeah.
really do it for the passion. And
Sure.
that's why I love hanging out with you, is you have this passion, this motivation to win. It's not, okay, I want to go sign this contract, make this money, and forget about the world, right? You want to see a fan that wants
Paid
your
him to say
autograph.
that. I paid him
Right.
a lot of money to say that.
But think about it. You want to go to a racetrack, and you want a fan to come up to you, and you want to give them an experience that makes them want to come back to the racetrack.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Carson's doing a great job of that when it comes to, look, iRacing, right? Inviting people in,
Mhm.
Twitch streams, going to Chili's and hanging out with people, going
Yeah.
outside the racetrack and just being a human.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things these days that can really change lives, in a sense of sports and the real world,
Mhm.
is just being a people person.
Yeah.
Right. Just having fun with the people around you,
Yeah.
giving that kindness in a way. And I
Mhm.
know you like that. You've told me stories where you're walking around the Rolex garage, right? And you have random guys asking you for your autograph, but that
I'm a
makes you feel,
nobody.
right? And and you feel like a nobody.
I'm a nobody compared to these guys racing.
Yeah,
I'm just
but that's the love of the game.
Yeah.
Like, you've created this persona of yourself where you are Sam Corey, you are likable in a way, right? And I think if we can get that to transfer to the track, that's when, the sport grows again. Like Cleus McFarland. I mean, we could talk about
Yeah.
that for hours.
an hour.
right?
Yeah.
And I mean, what do you think about him? Like, how does Cleus's impact with having millions of subscribers coming to NASCAR? I know it hasn't been the greatest.
Mhm.
I know he's learning his way around the car,
Right.
but he just signed with RCR. Like, that could grow the sport forever.
Well, and honestly, the huge following he has, I mean, that's just bringing a whole nother group of fans to NASCAR. Maybe some of them were already enjoying NASCAR. He promoted stuff, granted with Greg Biffle, all
Mhm.
that stuff. But I mean, I think him coming into, the sport has been great because of the following he has. It's like, it's funny, right? And I feel like a lot recently. It's been YouTuber joins
Oh,
X,
it's
whether it's,
unreal.
the Paul brothers getting in boxing or wrestling. Like,
Oh man.
he's just a YouTuber, bro. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then now it's Cletus, and I think that's really cool. I think he'll learn and he'll figure it out. And
Yeah. Totally. I mean,
you know,
RCR. That's a great team.
but like even the social media stuff, the clips. I'm just hot dogging around Daytona right now. Like, you know what I mean? That's so
Flying
cool.
like a bald eagle, cut my
Yeah.
sleeves off. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that clip. He went on Kevin Harvick's podcast in Daytona.
Yeah.
And his buddy Squirrel or something got his like tattoo sign on his back, right? And I'm like, these guys are bringing this fan engagement that is awesome.
We need it.
And that's what we need. That's why, that's my desire, right? I want to bring people to the racetrack, and I have take this personally, right? I've got a couple buddies back home where, I'm like, hey, let's go to a race.
Yeah.
And they're 50-50. They're like, oh, cars go in circles, right? And then you bring them to the atmosphere and they smell it, they see it. They're sitting with the fans, shirts off, middle fingers flying.
Yeah.
Like, it gets rowdy.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff where I want people to enjoy it and get this thought of, this is so cool. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to support. And then goes back to the personalities, the Carson Hosevars. You drive to pick somebody that you like.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge. That's the greatest thing we can bring into the sport.
And it's somebody that, and I think we haven't really seen too much of this since Dale Earnhardt. He's that guy that he will run your door off to win a race, and he don't care.
Fuel saving at Daytona, I don't think he would have liked that.
No, he just sent every single one of them
drove
guys.
through the field, right?
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that, I mean, Hocevar is that breath of fresh air in a way, right?
Yeah.
And I like it.
I think
My
it's
little
cool.
brother, like, he's been a NASCAR fan his whole life because of the family
Sure.
and whatever. And he's addicted to Carson Hocevar.
Really?
And it's not the fact that he's, this younger kid. It's the fact that he wants to go win every race. It drive your door off, right? And it brings NASCAR back. That's what
Right.
NASCAR is.
It's NASCAR, yeah.
You want that clean racing, go watch Formula One, right? NASCAR has that persona and that look that, hey, you want to come here, we're gonna run your doors off, we're gonna run you hard, we're gonna win a race, and that's what the fans love. So
I think you saw a little bit of that when the trucks went to St. Pete, because you had
Oh, yeah.
Dario, you had Hinchcliffe, you had some of these guys where, like Hinch, I watched part of the race and Hinch is just everyone's moving it.
Oh, yeah.
He's just getting sent
and
everywhere.
he's accepting it, right?
Correct. Instead of like, I think that kind of shows you NASCAR is this contact sport where you either move or you get moved
Yeah.
if you're not fast enough.
I mean, Martinsville. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll
perfect
be honest.
example.
When I was younger, there was a quote that I heard, and I've never forgot it. I think it's like, you bump the first time, you get bumped in the corner. It's, hey, I'm here. You get a second time, you're like, all right, watch out. Third time, you're gone.
Yeah.
Third time, you're out of the way.
Ricky
You're in the
Rudd
wall.
taught me that. 3 strikes
yeah.
and you're out.
But
And
it's
you pay
like,
back with interest.
that's a NASCAR thing. You scrape somebody's tire in F1. I mean, you're done for
See ya.
the race. Like,
Yeah.
you're out, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's the big thing about NASCAR is why
It's hard racing.
we want to see you go down that path, right? We want to see you enjoy that, because that's when it comes back to that fan engagement. It's
For sure.
let's create a name for ourselves without being dumb, right? Without wrecking people on purpose or whatever. Like, there's a limit.
Mhm.
But what Carson's doing is, pedal to the metal, foot to the wall. Like, look, I'm gonna race you. I want to win a race. So
Right.
I like it. I think it's fresh. I think the Cletus stuff is good. But I'm more excited about these younger kids coming up, right? Like, I mean, you see the Brextons, you see the Keelan Harvicks, you see, all the kids that are running late models and Legends cars, they're getting their rise. The Ram, the colleague thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's cool. That's cool. And it's bringing that publicity back to the sport that I think we've needed in that down period.
For a long time, yeah.
It's rough.
Because even from the heyday, like, you go to a racetrack, you don't see that many fans. I mean, we went to the Echo Park Speedway,
Mhm.
and it was, obviously, we didn't go for the Cup race, we were there for the O'Reilly
It was
race.
a doubleheader, right?
Yeah, and there wasn't that many fans, but I think that, some of these people coming into the sport, Carson Hocevar, Cletus McFarland, those guys will bring that fan base back, that rowdy, like, hey, we're going to a NASCAR race. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. Like, it's
Like,
really cool.
They're ripping their sleeves off. They're in the garage having a
Yeah.
good time, and they're
Yeah.
having the most fun,
Exactly.
right?
So I agree.
It's a fan sport,
Right.
and I do think NASCAR is getting better at that. With the Clash, trying to
Yeah.
travel, they're trying.
Yeah,
People
for
are
sure.
people are
You
hating
see
on them.
the progression.
Yeah, people are giving them crap for going to Bowman Gray and the racing this and that. I thought Bowman Gray was awesome.
I
this
loved
year.
it that they ran in the
They
wet.
ran in the
That
rain.
was sick.
I mean, I was there. I watched Ryan Preece and Shane Van Gisbergen lead 40-something laps, and I got Shane drifting around the outside like it was a dirt track.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And mind you, we're in a football stadium.
Mhm.
So, like, NASCAR's trying. I give them so much credit because, people like to down on them, go back
Yeah.
to Daytona and all that, but they're trying, and they want to bring the fans back. And I think them allowing these YouTubers, that truck race in Daytona had millions of viewers because they had, Stewart, you had Cletus, right? You had Travis Pastrana. Like, they're bringing these guys in to grow it, and it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Because they have a huge fan base.
And
So-
that's what NASCAR's bringing back.
Yeah, I agree. And I think kind of everybody, at least a lot of people, are just like, well, why would I go when I can sit on my couch and watch it?
Right.
But instead, it's kind of starting to get back to, yeah, I get to go to a cup race. Like, let's go.
I'm cheesing at the track.
Right.
You were with me in Atlanta. Like, I'm a kid in a candy store.
Yeah,
We went and stood on the fence in turn 4, and
This
I'm
is
like
you.
pumped. I'm ready to go. Yeah, like
so cool.
I'm
Yeah, it's
excited.
cool.
And like I took my dad took me to Bristol for the October race. I think it was when it was last year. Maybe it was what the playoff race.
Yeah.
And we went and we stood down in the middle of turn 4, and they're racing on a wall 10 feet in front of you, and I couldn't stop smiling.
It's so cool.
Like, I'm 19 years old, and I still feel like a kid in a candy store.
Yep.
And I want to bring that back. We talk about the TV thing. People say, "Oh, I can watch it on my couch." Well, I did the Rolex for the first time this year. I went down there.
So obviously I didn't get to see you there.
Yeah,
I
totally.
was stepping
well,
in the
with the fog, you definitely probably couldn't see me. There,
Oh,
but-
it was so bad up there, standing up there in the spotter stand. Oh my gosh, it was because it was funny. I can't remember if it was Chaz Mostert in the car or Mero Engel, but they came on the radio and they're like, "Mate, I need help back here," and I'm like,
You can't.
I
can't
cannot
see you.
see you right now. I'm sorry, I lose you here.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, all right, all good, mate." Whatever. And it's just like it was tough.
But it's they just do such a good job. Like
Mhm.
I've been to the 500.
Mhm.
I've seen it. I've seen the fans. I've seen how rowdy it gets. It's a show,
Yeah.
right? But there's
There you
a respect level
Right.
in the 24, and it's like,
There's so many people.
oh, it's unbelievable. And when you get your ticket, it's not a grandstand ticket. It's
Right.
a go wherever you want
Mhm.
without getting in trouble ticket.
Yeah.
And everybody's friendly. But you're racing for 24 hours straight. Like,
Right.
there's something about that. Something about seeing a Lamborghini fly by at 2 a.m, right? Or
Yeah.
your dream car's on the racetrack.
It's so
screaming.
cool. Like, and honestly, the fan base, like, there's so many different kinds of people. There's not just one kind of person. There's-
NASCAR's niche,
Yeah,
but this IMSA thing is
it's
Oh,
huge,
unbelievable.
And honestly, like when I walked in there, because we were racing the GS race there,
Mhm.
and then obviously spotting for Will Power and the 75 Express team, just being there and walking through the paddock. Like, look, if you have a driver's suit on, I'm nobody. I'm not in WeatherTech. I'm not Connor Zillich. I'm not Will Power.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
these guys. Whatever. Granted, I want to be there, but I'm
100%.
not that person. And still, kids coming up for autographs, knowing my name, and I'm just like, what?
Well, you forget who you are.
Yeah,
And that's
in a
the
sense,
thing.
yeah.
That's a thing where it's a humbling experience.
Mhm.
You're not out there pushing your name. You're
Right.
not out there saying, "Oh, I'm Sam Corey. I'm on the box.
Mhm.
I'm on the spotter stand."
Right.
You're not there. You're there to support your teammates and your friends and have a good time. And these people are realizing, like,
It's about having
know,
fun.
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna have a
Yeah.
good time. And you know what? I'm gonna see some cool people.
Mhm.
I mean, you never know who you're gonna see at a racetrack, and I think
Right.
that's awesome. I always go back to last year's Daytona 500. I was in the Hayek box with Ricky,
Mhm.
with one of my teammates at college for, I don't know, we were down there for 12 hours,
Yeah.
1 day trip. And I look back behind the pit box, and Drake May, Patriots quarterback. I'm a Tar Heel fan, so he played at Chapel Hill, and I was like kind of
Boy, yeah.
panicking a little bit. I was fanboying, but I didn't say anything. He was down doing his thing, and nobody was around him, just walking, enjoying the race. And I'm like, he's a fan. He's
Yeah.
enjoying this experience.
Yeah.
And you see guys like Puka Nakua did a ride around with Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, I
at
saw that.
Daytona.
Mhm.
Like, Toyota's doing a great job with that. They're
Well,
bringing
and we
people in.
saw when we were at Atlanta or Echo Park Speedway.
Yeah. Sorry.
When we were when we were there, we saw the kid that was standing around because he was the football player at
Oh yeah.
You remember?
Alabama? So
yeah,
there was
Alabama.
there was like I'm not sure what position he played, but he had his Alabama gear on, and
His name and stuff.
we were at Williams Swalch's pit box.
Yeah, and he was like taking it in.
Yeah,
I
and,
thought it was
and
cool.
I from my understanding, it looked like he was gonna be a future,
Yeah.
pit crew, whatever. He's gonna be a right retire changer, whatever. And
Right.
him and his family were there, and it was literally like more fun to watch his reaction than the actual race.
Yeah.
The racing was great, but like he's out there smiling like crazy, watching his future teammates jump over the wall, service his car, and he's into it, and seeing his smile and his family is like emotional, seeing this kid just
Yeah.
getting ready to live his dreams. And mind you, he played at Alabama. Like, he played against, I don't know, the best football players he'll probably ever see.
Yeah.
Right? Kids going to the NFL and
Mhm.
hundreds of thousands of fans weekly. Like,
Yeah.
It's a different aspect, but he's
Yeah, but
out
he
here
gets amped
loving
up
it.
for that.
And he's pumped.
Yeah.
He gets to live his life, and that's where Toyota does an amazing job. Like, huge shout out to Toyota. They love, I mean, Joe Gibbs, all these guys, they bring in these football players to be these pit crew guys, and it brings in another level of fan engagement, right? So I give a huge shout out to him. I didn't get his name. Don't know who he is. I hope I see him at a racetrack because he was having a blast. And that's something that, really takes my heart away is when you see these little kids, these adults having a great time at the racetrack. It's super special.
When you can go out, and it was like Lime Rock last year.
Yeah.
It was raining, and we had so many fans. And we don't, sometimes we'll get fans, sometimes we don't, whatever. But like Lime Rock always brings a ton of fans for the Trans Am race. It's been like that every year. We went back and watched the onboard from the year before, and you go down through the back stretch, and it's like the whole hill is covered with fans.
It's like a football game. You're just driving down the stands.
Right.
It's
and
unreal.
It's so cool. And, obviously we're fortunate enough to win there. And in the wet, it was a great race. Strategy played into it. It was really cool. But the amount of fans that were there, it was so cool. And it's just people that love racing.
Yeah.
And honestly, nowadays, it's just when you see somebody that just loves it so much, like as much as you do as a driver, whatever, that's so cool. And it's right here, So to have that fan base.
And like my 2 cents on that are the Cars Tour, right? I'm gonna give a huge shout out to Landon Lewis. Like, I was able to watch him do his thing last year, win a championship. But I give so much credit to Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick stepping in. He's trying to be a part of this Cars Tour deal, and like they're bringing back the grassroots. They're bringing back the hometown racetracks. I love Hickory Motor Speedway.
Yeah,
I go there for everything, right?
And
crazy. The fans, what?
My team owner, Nick Tucker, is doing a ARCA race there.
Yeah, in literally a few weeks or something like that, right?
It's going to be so cool.
Like, but people don't understand.
Shout out, Nick.
People don't understand, like, Hickory has been around for so long. My mom's brother grew up racing trucks, like the super trucks at Hickory, and he has a story of going home and having to repair his race car with all the money left in his bank account and go work hard. Like, that's racing, right? And they're bringing it back. They're doing a great job. They're bringing the fan engagement back, and traveling circuit to circuit. I mean, ARCA going to Hickory is going to be huge.
Yeah,
all the guys that live up there that are diehards, like, they're going to come back, and it's going to bring back so many memories, right? And I'm just really happy to see these efforts that these organizations, even IMSA, like all these racing organizations trying to bring back that local level to grow the national level is unbelievable. From St. Pete, you had IndyCar mixed with trucks today.
With Phoenix.
We have Phoenix IndyCar, right? And you're mixing these organizations, and it's growing so many fan bases. And
it's cool because there's some teams, kind of like Penske, where like Penske's got the Cup team and an IndyCar team. So you have both caliber drivers there. Like Joey Logano sitting in the box yesterday at practice, and he was like, "Dude, how cool is that? They come through the corners so
like,
fast.
Dude, turn 3 or 4 is unbelievable.
They're flying." And it's like, dude, you're driving a Cup car. You're flying too. Like, but the downforce and
he loves it.
Yeah,
some of these guys love it, and
yeah,
I just think it's gonna be super special coming soon. Like, I think NASCAR is doing a great job of what they're doing. They're trying to, they've gotten a lot of backlash in these race cars, but what they're doing is they're trying to bring people into NASCAR.
Yeah.
They're trying to make these cars, that sports car look where everybody can drive it because they just want people to see what they're striving for, right?
What would be so cool though is to do like an exhibition event where you have a select amount of, the fans can pick it. IndyCar drivers come run a Cup car. Like, let's say
anybody.
McLaughlin, a Penske, goes and drives a Penske
but
Cup
put
car.
It Joey's car.
Yeah, exactly.
Joey's car,
like,
right?
you do it like an exhibition event like that, or do it at Thermal Club on a road course.
Yeah.
Or because IndyCar already goes there for their exhibition event. That'd be cool to do like a kind of flip flop and see how everybody does.
I think that what I'm seeing personally is like I love seeing drivers from other organizations, other
SVG.
Don't even get me started.
People hate on it, but I love it.
I think this Shane Van Gisbergen thing is unbelievable.
Yeah.
To see a guy come in and physically change the sport, like, in a sense of these guys are like, dude, we have to beat this guy. And shout out Tyler Reddick, like, Coda beat him
3 in a row.
Guy's got 3 in a row, right? He's earned it.
Yeah.
But Shane's one of the only guys, if not the only guy, that uses 3 pedals when he drives that car, right? And you go and watch Dario at St. Pete.
He's doing it too.
The only guy using 3 pedals, and he's having a blast. He's loving it. But you're getting
brings
their
that
feedback.
old school feel back.
Yeah, you're getting their feedback, and it's like these guys are loving it. They're enjoying it. But I mean, he won 6 out of the last 7 road
it's
course
so
races.
funny. I was texting with my team owner Nick. We were texting, or we were talking the night before the Cup race. He had won the O'Reilly Auto Parts race
this past weekend. Yeah.
Sorry, Xfinity flies off the tongue a little easier.
Yeah, O'Reilly.
but he had won it. And then, so Nick was spotting for all of his road courses. And so Nick was like, I'm not spotting for him tomorrow. So, if he doesn't win, it's because I'm not there, whatever. And so he goes out and obviously finishes second.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I texted Nick. I said, I guess SVG can't win on the road courses without you, can he? He goes, correct.
Yeah. But it's unbelievable to see that, I myself was a golfer growing up, still am,
Yeah.
Big into golf. And when we watch it on TV, betting has grown, sports betting has grown everything, right? You can bet like hold a hole, birdies, whatever.
You can
Scotty
bet video
Scheffler,
games, dude. Like, it's crazy.
Scotty Scheffler is like this Tiger Woods now, right?
Mhm.
He's this Shane Van Gisbergen on a road course in the golf world.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I was talking to my mom right before a race at Coda, and Shane's odds to win the race were plus 165 or something, which is almost favorited, meaning literally, like logically, statistically, he's going to win this race. And I
Right.
thought that was unbelievable,
Right.
right? And to have a guy like that in NASCAR, it's big because you have these, his teammate's Connor Zilic. Connor Zilic knows exactly how to drive a road course,
Yeah.
right? But he's learning behind Shane,
Mhm.
right? You have all these guys walking up to Shane, asking him questions. I enjoy watching AJ Allmendinger run a road course. He
Yeah.
still has that touch that
Yeah, he
guys
does.
don't have.
Yeah.
But it's cool because these guys are trying to learn from him, and Shane's trying to learn from them. He wants to learn how to run an oval, right? And he's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, you can see
Done
that
that.
forward progression. It's like we were talking like
Yeah,
last
yeah.
night. Consistent forward progression.
Exactly. And you see it. And I mean, right now he's top 5, top 6 in points. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, we're through 3 races, but this is a guy that's
Still.
grown up turning right and left his whole life, not
Yeah.
just left. So it is definitely an eye opener. I enjoy seeing these new guys coming to NASCAR and give NASCAR some feedback, and I'm
Yeah.
sure they enjoy it too.
Mhm.
But it's bringing these worlds combined. You're having these talks of, is Kyle Larson the greatest driver in the world?
Yeah.
Right. And I like that. I like hearing that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share my opinion on that,
Mhm.
but for the sake of what it is, to hear people want to start talking, Max Verstappen and Kyle Larson, you're bringing the 2 biggest motorsports from one side of the world and the other together.
Yeah.
And now you're bringing fans together. Fans are going to start watching. They're going to start comparing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's bringing that new feeling back to NASCAR that I like.
I agree. A new kind of fan base. So I'll ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think that, so when you look at it, right?
Mhm.
I think it was after Coda. Brad Keselowski did an interview, and he was talking about how NASCAR needs to stop going to road courses. It's bad for the sport. It's bad. Nobody watches it. I think we should just get rid of road courses altogether. NASCAR's meant to be on an oval. Granted, I'm a road racer, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
highly
yeah.
disagree with that. Brad, I'm sorry, but I really disagree with you there. What is your stance on that? As a,
Yeah.
if you could take a step back and
Own it for a
be
week.
unbiased
Mhm.
and pretend like you're just a race fan and
Mhm.
all you've ever done is watch racing over the years, what's your take?
So, the NASCAR I grew up was, you have your 36 races, I believe.
Yep.
36 weeks.
Mhm.
And you go to Sonoma and Watkins Glen.
Yeah, just those two.
And I grew up, we talk about this all the time. Juan Pablo Montoya, like
Mhm.
he was a threat,
Yeah.
right? Marcus Ambrose, like
Yeah.
I remember seeing these weeks where they would go to road courses, and it was like its own championship in a way,
Mhm.
right? Because you're here trying to prove yourself, and these cars are meant to run on ovals. They're meant to,
Right.
you bring what you got.
Well, next gen
race
car's
it.
a sports car, dude.
Yeah, I mean, but nowadays you've got these cars in the Cup Series that are sports cars, like you say,
Yeah.
right? They're sequential. They drive like them, and
Yeah.
when they go to these road courses, the racing is actually good, right?
Mhm.
There's I don't see a lot of domination. I see domination when there's tire fall off,
Yeah.
but when you got these 10 to go restarts, like they get into it,
Mhm.
and it's awesome. And I do believe that when it comes to scheduling, I didn't like, and this is total honesty, when they went to dirt at Bristol,
Yeah.
it was cool.
It was cool for the dirt fans, like
But-
Christopher Bell fans and Kyle Larson
But
fans.
you got
and,
Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell dominating. It's the same with SVG,
as they should.
right? And they should. But for the sake of NASCAR, what NASCAR is, dirt is big on its own. If you're a dirt fan, you got some World of Outlaws to watch. You got all this big
Midgets,
stuff.
yeah,
Oh,
all
everything, and
that
it
stuff.
travels,
Yeah.
right? And you kind of need to keep this. You don't see Formula One going to an oval. IndyCar is its own thing. They like that mix,
Mhm.
right? But they're mainly road course. NASCAR should be the mainly oval, dip into road courses. They're doing a great job.
Mhm.
But
I think
to
having
me,
5 road courses on the schedule is
that's
great.
great. I think
Spread
if you
out.
push it more than that, you're starting to get a little bit into that half and half sport.
I could do half and half.
I mean, you could,
personally.
but,
I think
you
we
know,
could do half and
You
half.
look at the guys who are
NASCAR.
consistently, P25 and lower or and higher at road courses. Like they're sitting there thinking, man, well, if this was 10 years ago and my oval skills are amazing, like I'm good. There's only 2 road courses, so
Right.
I think that creates that that thought process, and you can use your information here on this and let me know, but like NASCAR, everybody looks at it as, you grow up in late models, you go to trucks, you go to Xfinity, you're ripping mile and a halves weekly.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the thing, they're getting rid of Kentucky, I think that's the one that's going down the hill.
Yeah, I don't know.
Auto Club left, and that's like we're starting to lose some tracks, lose some fan engagement, and they're bringing in these road courses. It's great. It's bringing in new fans. I want to give a shout out to Coda. I mean, Formula One runs there.
That's so cool.
That's huge.
And now the San Diego race, awesome.
Excited for that.
I think that's
sweet. Gonna be now. Granted, the world's
street course every year, please.
The world's having some trouble right now, but
if there's just an F-35 flying over,
that's America.
That's
awesome. That's NASCAR for you.
I'm telling you, and this is so cool. I was standing there on the spotter stand about to start for the Rolex, and they do the national anthem and everything. These two F-35 next gen fighters are flying over, and then they come over slow, and then they blow by us and come back again like 4 different times.
So when we were in International Horseshoe when that happened. Yeah, and I was looking ahead of me.
The hairs on my neck were standing up. It was the coolest thing ever.
Oh,
that was so cool. Just as an American, like now that
it gets you fired up, and now you got 65 cars on a racetrack
about to
getting ready to go, and then they wreck on the first lap. So it's like everybody was too pumped up, right? So it's like it's very cool what they're doing, and and if I want to talk about the San Diego topic, I want to talk about what they're doing in Washington D.C. with IndyCar. Like, no politics aside. I want to give a shout out to the people who are doing this because they're bringing America back. It doesn't matter what you believe in and all that. We're here to race, right? Yeah. These guys want to
race.
Racing is American.
Doesn't matter
true.
What.
It's passionate. It's loud. It's powerful. I mean, they're going to be running through the streets of DC. They're going to be running around places that I think are so cool.
Yeah.
You got the Capitol, the monument, like everything. It's
the
like
sound, the smell, everything.
Oh my gosh! And then you go, you got one on the East Coast, Washington D.C., and then you got NASCAR going out to the base out in San Diego, and my uncle, mom's brother. He was stationed there. He was in the Navy, and so I've gotten some feedback from him. He's like, dude, they could be on top of these buildings. They could do this stuff. Like, it's gonna be awesome, and there's gonna be battleships out there. Like,
that's so cool.
It's gonna be patriotic, and it's like if you want NASCAR, yes, you're on a road course, but you're about to go on race on a military base. Like, the promotion, the promotion they've done for that is unbelievable.
Yeah,
and I think that they're really doing a good job, and IndyCar's doing a great job. IndyCar's starting to get a little closer with NASCAR. I'm starting to see it. Whether or not you want to admit it, like
I'm a huge. I love IndyCar. I mean, I race in the open wheel stuff. I know that stuff. It's where I come from, and that stuff is so cool to me. Like watching an IndyCar go around Iowa. If you've never done it, go do it. It's the coolest thing ever. Like, holy crap.
So I want to hear kind of more of what you think, but so I mean, Kyle Larson, per se, right? He I mean, I think he hasn't finished in Indy 500, has he? I mean, he might have.
He finished the first one.
Yeah, but then he like downshifted in the middle of the corner or something next.
Yeah.
Now, that people were hating on, because Max Verstappen, he can't get another car. Kyle can't get another car and win. I don't see it
so hard.
AJ Allmendinger. He's my neighbor. He's a good friend of mine, good friend of yours.
Yeah.
Right? That dude did it.
Shout out AJ. Thanks for all the help.
If I'm right. I mean, there's so many NASCAR drivers that have attempted to run an IndyCar, and they can admit it's hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally different world.
The technology.
And for your sake of being an open wheel driver, like I want to hear what you think. Like, do you want to see these? Like, do you want to see SVG go to an IndyCar? Do you want to see, the best? You go win Tyler Reddick, for example. He won 3 races. 2 ovals, obviously drafting tracks, but the guy has speed. Do you want to go see him run a race in IndyCar? Do you want to go see these mixes instead of the guys coming over here? Yeah. What if we went over there? Right?
That exhibition event that we were speaking of earlier, I think would be so cool because it'll broadcast. Like, look, if you gave Kyle Larson enough time to test and to, you know what I'm saying, and you gave him the proper preparation for it. Granted, sim is great, all that
stress
stuff.
Of the double.
Yeah, there's a lot of stress there, but there's so much technology in the car because you have so many things that you can change. Like in the Cup car, you've got fans and stuff and brake bias and whatnot. But like in an Indy car, you have anti-roll bar, you have your front roll bar, your rear roll bar, you have mapping, you have throttle map, you have
gosh,
you have so much different stuff that you have to worry about. Like when you watch them, granted the road course is a whole different thing, but when you watch the Indy 500 and you watch qualifying, they're making adjustments to the car. Like there's no hands on the wheel making adjustments to the car down the backstretch doing 230.
Yeah.
Like just because they have to weight jack, like all that kind of stuff. There's so much you have to learn. And even like, okay, driving the car is tough, but it's all the little extra stuff that is even harder. Having to know when to do the weight jack or when to change your roll bar.
It's scary, right?
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Like I watch the karting stuff. That's considered open wheel, right? When you're doing 180 in an open wheel car, maybe more than that, 150, and there's a guy right next to you, you know, that risk
Yeah.
of touching tires is the entirety of the sport, right? Like, that's what keeps it clean,
Yeah.
right? And it's scary. I mean, it's got to be
Yeah.
scary, right? You run around Indianapolis, like, that's got to feel a little bit nerve-wracking when somebody's, you know, 6 inches
When you're
away from
doing
you.
220 side by
Yeah.
side through turn 1 at IMS, like,
I mean, you know,
Man.
you've seen kids flip go-karts. Like, you go out in an Indy car, Formula 1 car,
yeah,
it's the same thing.
it
Like,
doesn't feel
it
good.
is. Mm-mm.
Been there, done that. Don't feel good.
Oh,
So
I
no,
mean-
it's it is, but you get used to it. Like the speed doesn't feel that fast once you get
Yeah.
used to it. Everything kind of slows down for it now. The first time you go out and you run 230, you're like, oh my god. I would assume
and
I've
then
never
it kind
done
of backs
but
down. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to do that. That'd be so
That
cool
would
to do
be-
a double one
hey.
day.
If you pulled off a double, you know, there's only certain guys in history that have done it.
Yeah.
So it's more of a, you know, you want to go back to that conversation about like who's the GOAT, who's the greatest driver. I don't think it matters.
You know what would be cool is if you have fans take like Max Verstappen, I would assume they would take Kyle Larson. I'd assume, you know, someone from NASCAR, someone from IndyCar, and someone from
Probably
Formula
gonna have a
1.
willpower or something. Like,
Yeah, whatever it is, and then put them in a supercar,
yes,
put them in a cup car.
put them in that car that none of them have driven.
You
right?
could do
You
that
could do
too,
that,
or you
or-
could do like a supercar, or you could do an Indy Lights car,
Do you
like
remember-
something.
Do you remember the Tony Stewart, Lewis Hamilton thing at Watkins Glen?
Yes, something like that.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Right. And when I say it doesn't matter who's the GOAT, it doesn't.
Right.
Dude, I've seen kids I mean, I watched my first World of Outlaw race
That's
this
cool
past
stuff right there.
summer, I think. Yeah. Well, 160, 150 miles per hour around the top. I mean,
Grayson's blowing our
150 miles per hour. Whatever. We'll skip off that.
Shout out Grayson
Shout
up
out
church.
Grayson.
See your text, man.
But no, so like there's these different aspects of racing where, you know, I give so much respect to the guys that can win in every car,
Yeah,
but I don't want there to be a GOAT. There doesn't need to be a
doesn't
GOAT.
have to be.
Right? You know, you got the guys who changed the game. You got the Dale Earnhardts,
Yeah.
right? You got I mean, think about Formula 1. You know, all those guys.
They're
they
all
changed
so
it,
good,
right?
Okay, everybody.
Everybody can win a race, right?
Yeah,
In this day and age, you know, Formula 1's all about your engines, your cars. You see the Aston Martin
Yeah,
stuff
I mean,
going on right now,
yeah,
and these guys aren't even getting a run. But back to what I was saying, like,
it's very
you go
car
watch
dependent.
You go watch a World of Outlaws race. There's a lot of
Oh.
guys that can't sit in that car and do that. There's a lot of guys that can't go. I mean, you know,
Throw your
hate to
nuts
put,
over your
hate to
shoulder
put
and go.
Cletus in the driver's seat here, but I mean, look what happened at Daytona. Everybody
Yeah.
thinks Daytona is just, you know, pedal down, drive, but he showed it does
tough.
tap, and he wasn't the only one to do it that race. You know, it happened again, and you see that like
You see
people
professionals.
think it's so easy.
Yeah.
Right. And I know Cletus is not, you know, on the level of some of these other guys, but when
We'll
it
get there
happens
with
to these
time.
drivers, like it's real. You know, you got the guys spinning tires on restarts, wrecking the whole field.
Dude, it's
Like,
hard to
it's
jump into a
hard.
brand new car and no testing and just race it.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, sim is great, but it's still like
Never enough.
my first time at IRP in the ARCA car. Granted, I did sim, but I jumped on the track and we were talking about it in the last episode with LeVar because LeVar was behind me and LeVar and Andres, and LeVar was behind me and he's like, yeah, you could see you were entering a little high and then you
Yeah.
were trying, you were trying different things. You were figuring it out, but it's tough, right? Because we had very short practice because of the rain, and then we just jumped into the race, like at the dirt race.
Yeah.
I first time I'd ever seen the racetrack because there's no sim for the dirt races was literally the parade lap when we were about to go green.
Yeah.
And so it's just like you just have to figure it out. And
Yeah.
It's tough, and I don't think people really take into account how tough it really is to just jump into a brand new car and just figure it out.
Oh,
But that's what made
It's
AJ
hard.
Foyt so good. That's what made Tony
Mhm.
Stewart so good. That's what made some of these guys great.
Tony Stewart. I mean, I'm not big into the NHRA stuff,
Mhm.
but I got a buddy who is, and like apparently Tony Stewart's like killing it, right?
Yeah.
And if that's the case,
I don't
like,
really pay attention to it too much.
if that's the case, like that's, I mean, you know, yes, he's got to hold a wheel straight, but
Yeah.
you couldn't imagine going 0 to 330 in
Yeah.
3 seconds.
Well, I think it'd be cool to have Tony Stewart on the show. You know, our producer over here has done a lot with Tony over the years, so maybe we
Shout
can
out
work.
Tony.
Shout out Tony. Maybe we can work that out. You know, part of the reason I love number 14.
Yeah.
You know, Tony
Yeah.
Stewart, AJ Foyt, all those guys, and my birthday. But you know, it's weird. So it's kind of weird. So you don't really have numbers in golf.
No.
So
We've
like,
tried, but no.
it's kind of weird because like forever I'd always race 14. I
Mhm.
played football. I was number
Mhm.
14. Like I was 14 until 2024, I was number 23.
Mhm.
And because that was like at Pabst Racing. And I do have the Pabst helmet out, but at Pabst Racing, it was like you were 22, 23, 24 were the cars, and everything was labeled that, so you
Yeah,
couldn't change it.
Yeah.
last year, this year, number 70 with Nitro Motorsports. Like, it's just kind of weird. And I'm like, but I'll always be number 14. I don't know. It's
Yeah, I know.
it's kind of
what you
weird,
mean.
but so kind of transitioning a little bit, what's your mentality on the golf course, right? So, obviously golfer, all that kind of stuff, you
Yeah.
are really great. And, regrouping in between shots, in between hole to hole, whether you have a bad shot or a good shot, how do you kind of reset your mind frame to move on to the next hole if you've maybe messed up or you played
Yeah,
really good and
yeah.
the fans are cheering?
Mhm.
But how has that kind of shaped your mentality and work ethic moving forward?
I honestly, so golf's individual
Yeah.
sport, and I've grown up around racing. I've seen it back to back. How these guys handle themselves.
Mhm.
I take a lot of pride that I got to grow up playing an individual sport because you do put a lot of pressure on yourself.
For sure.
And I give props to guys like you, other drivers. Like, it's a big deal. But we've kind of touched on this before. Like,
Yeah.
you work so hard.
Mhm.
You see all the efforts that you can't really. The best players in the world, no matter what sport you play, they don't look at the negatives as to bring them down.
Mhm.
It's the thing to build them up, right?
Learn.
It's how can I get better? How can I not do that again? And I've had my troubles. You've probably had yours where
Yeah.
you're leading going into the last lap or leading with 15 to go, and I might have a lead in a tournament. I actually struggled with leading in the first round or playing well in the first round and then not being able to hold it through to the weekend. I always thought that once I did it, I got nervous. I had to hold it, right?
Mhm.
And there's that nerve,
The pressure.
can I finish? Can I get to the end of what I want to,
Yeah.
succeed in? And that's probably the hardest part. But to stay positive, it's hard. But
Yeah.
if you can do it and you can remember, I've worked at this for years. I've tried for years. I've proved it. I've shown that I can win. Like, the days that I've played great, I've definitely told myself, like, hey, look, you've been here before, done this 1,000 times. You've made
Yeah.
this putt, you've hit the shot. Like, it definitely carries into the mental aspect. And you talk about the physical and mental
Mhm.
aspect of racing. It's definitely similar.
I feel like golf is so mental.
It's just, you can't, it's so technical, but
Mhm.
the guys that are so good, they just make it fun.
Yeah.
I
Dumb it. Keep it simple, stupid.
my grandfather, like, he's the one that got me into racing. You got Ricky Rudner, dad, like, or got me into golf. Sorry.
Yeah.
But he's
He's actually a race car driver
he's-
secretly. He's the Stig.
yeah, he's so big. My grandfather's so big into the Scotty Scheffler guy. And,
Yeah.
I love it. Guy can't stop winning. He's gone to jail. He's done all these crazy
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I love it.
it's this,
The
but
villain.
his character,
Yeah.
he doesn't care about golf. He doesn't. In his interviews, his press conferences, it's awesome because he's like, he doesn't know what his identity is. He always says he struggled to find his identity. He doesn't want to be known as a golfer. He wants to be known as a person, right? And
Huh.
and
I never knew that.
I look at that in a special manner.
Yeah.
When people look at me and they see me, they know me as a golfer.
Mhm.
They know me as Josh Jones' son. They know me as a kid who wants to be in the racing world, right?
Yeah.
And when I look back at all the times that people have, like, doubted me and given
Mhm.
up on me, I just remember, hearing my grandfather, hearing my dad remind me, saying, like, look, man, like, people are gonna be here. People are gonna, they're not gonna like who you are, whether you're the greatest person in the world or not.
Yeah.
And things in my life haven't really worked out the best way in the golf side recently. I've worked my butt off, just never really got that
The
boost
break.
from the people that needed to give the boost.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's life. It's not really gonna work out in our ways sometimes, but the head that I have on my shoulders has changed the person I am
Yeah.
dramatically, right? To be able to positively move forward, to still, people to this day ask me, like, hey, can we go out and play? Hey, can you help my son? Like, all this stuff, like, that means something to me because
I
they
ask you
believe
every
in me.
week because I'm terrible. I need you to fix my golf game.
But like that, like, it may sound funny and corny, but like deep down, like, I like that.
Yeah.
It makes me think that the people that come up to me, I was running in my neighborhood a couple days ago, and guy pulled up next to me in his truck and just was like, hey, you're Jonathon, right? And I was like, and he's a member at my golf course and seen my journey. He was just asking me how it was going, and I gave him the update. I was like, yeah, it's, I've kind of been doubted a little bit, and it's kind of
Yeah.
weighed on me a touch. And I told him, I said, my dad's always told me to stay positive. My grandfather's motto is keep smiling.
Mhm.
I love it. But to be able to share your story with people and them actually care no matter what happens to you, it
Yeah.
shows that there's people in this world that believe in you. And
Yeah.
I think that when it comes to being a race car driver and when it comes to being an athlete in general,
Mhm.
you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Like, you're really going to have some hard times. And
Yeah.
when you push through it, like, I'm a believer in God. I believe in, Christianity, whatever. But I have always thought that there was a plan, right? No
Yeah.
matter what happens, I
God's got
remember
it.
calling my mom. I remember sitting in my dorm room, like, look, I'm playing my butt off. Like, it's just not, nobody sees it.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Right. And it weighed on me, it's weighed on me to this day. And I think that my whole passion for what I want to do for the future is like, just help people know that there's people there.
Yeah.
Right. Like you may fail, but you're still you know how hard you worked. Like, I don't want people to ever have that feeling of being given up on in a way.
Yeah.
And I know that's deep. I know that's heavy,
No, but it's
but
the
it's
old,
meaningful.
yeah, it's the Rocky Balboa kind of speech that he gave his son in
Yeah.
Rocky 5. It's like, it's not about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get back up and keep on standing.
And
So,
I live by that.
yeah,
Like, I think
God's
that
got it, man.
I think that when we at the end of the day, like, I always take the you only live once thing. I don't
Yeah.
use it to my advantage to do, like, dumb things or anything crazy.
Right.
But
Maximize.
I've had my share of the publicity. I've had my share of winnings. You've won. You know what it feels like. It's great. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, "Hey, nobody really cares."
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
It's
is
like
that not
his phone
not
blows up on
crazy?
socials for a day, and then the
Yeah,
next
it's like,
day it's
oh,
like
they like my
everybody's
post
moved
and all
on.
this, and then 2 days later somebody else wins and boom.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah.
And I think that when it comes to Scotty Scheffler and his identity, or just pure race car drivers that are just humble and kind, like, when you can identify yourself as not just a winner, just a
Yeah.
guy that believes in himself and he can keep going, like, that's when it comes to that good shot, that bad shot. Like,
Yeah.
as long as you can have that belief that no matter what happens, it's going to be okay. How
Yeah.
hard you tried. I think that's really where you can shine in all sports.
Yeah, it's funny. My good friend, he's my mental coach. His name is Jacques Delaire.
Mhm.
Jacques is his mind is so strong, and if he was a race car driver, he would beat me before we even get to the race car, because he's just that,
Yeah.
mentally tough. And so he was teaching me a little bit, and he's worked with amazing people, so many different people. I mean, he worked with Ayrton Senna. Like, I mean, he's amazing. And so, Jacques' teaching is you can only control what you do, and A times B equals results. A is
Yeah.
all the stuff that you can control, your preparation, your execution, everything you do. B are things a B factor is like, the weather, what other people, if something happens to your race car, or, whatever it is. And results are results. So you have to be 95% focused on A,
Mhm.
0% focused on B. You could be a little focused on results. We
Yeah,
all
yeah.
are. We want to
Oh,
win.
we want to win, man.
Yeah.
That feeling, like,
You don't get it anywhere else.
and I think for the rest of my life I'm gonna be able to look back, and the guys that know me on the golf side, like,
Yeah.
deep down I've got my buddies, and they know, they've done big things, they've
Mhm.
won big things, and I've had my share, right? I had a weird career. I always had that ability to play strong and never finish.
Right.
My coach always told me, well, the head pro at my golf course, he was like my best friend for years, and he always like, one of these days you're gonna break through. One of these days you're gonna have your day. You're gonna break through. You're gonna feel free.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me literally to my senior year to just have that feeling of I can do it.
Yeah.
And I turned it on. Senior year I broke records. I couldn't stop winning, and I was in this joy filled moment. And
Swagger.
I got to where I wanted to be. I got to the college level, and I was like, dude, I did this. I won these tournaments. I went national. I played against these kids who are gonna be pros later in their life.
Yeah.
And I got to where I wanted to be, and I realized, like, nobody cares,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. They don't care about your story. They don't care about what you do. It's political when it comes down to it. Not in the actual politics way, but the money and
Mm-hmm.
the who do you know, and
Yeah.
are you best friends with
Right.
certain people, and
Not about what you do, it's
and
who you know.
it's definitely hurtful,
Mhm.
and when you show people that, I mean, I'm a fighter, right? And you're a fighter too. When you want something, you're gonna go get it,
Yeah.
right? No matter if it's a relationship, whether it's a
Sending
friend,
emails.
emails, man, like
Yeah.
a race. Like, if you want something, I am the type of person, I'm gonna give 110%.
Yep.
And I think the one thing that I want to create is when people talk to me,
Yeah.
I want them to think that, they may give 110% and they may think that nobody sees it, but like, I know what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like to give it all and lose it.
Yep.
And balancing life with sports and everything, it's tough.
Yeah.
But I think we'll get into it in a little bit later with what we're trying to build together. I just want it to be a place where people don't feel like they're giving up on.
Yeah.
Like, we know it's going to be hard, but that feeling is a feeling you never want anyone to imagine, and you've been through it. You know what it's like to be at your bottom, and like,
Yeah.
to know that it's all going to be okay in the end, even when people give up on you, when coaches give up on you, when crew chiefs, teammates, everything. When people give up on you, like, it hurts.
Mhm.
And I think that the best thing that we can do, as a community, as a world, is just fight through it, keep fighting.
It's
And
how you
it's awesome.
persevere up against your failures and things that you can't control.
Yeah.
It's about how you grow and move forward and say, you know what? F it.
Mm-hmm.
Watch me.
Yeah. And it gets a little cocky.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. But there's a there's a limit in my life where, and I'll ask you about your opinion on this. So like cockiness is
Mhm.
different.
Yeah.
You know, there's cockiness in money, there's cockiness in skill and talent. You know, my cockiness is believing in myself.
Mhm.
I don't like to be cocky and show up and be like, you know, I'm this nonchalant, you know,
I don't think
what do
you're
you want to
cocky. I
be?
think you're confident in your ability
Yeah.
of what you can do.
And I think that I've always confused that with myself. And I think people have always
Yeah.
misunderstood that about me.
hmm
And that's a soft topic for me, is people misunderstanding me, because like I've had the coaches that have done that.
Yeah.
Right? I've had not team coaches. I've had personal coaches, you know, swing and mental and whatever. I've had guys literally misunderstand my drive and my passion because I'm not cocky. I'm confident.
Yeah.
Right? I believe in this positivity. I believe in this happiness. And I at the end of the day, like I'll ask you, when you go to the racetrack, you see those guys that are cocky, and I
Mhm.
mean real cocky.
Yeah.
Not the
Yeah.
not the confident.
Mhm.
Right? You got guys like Tyler Reddick. He believes himself so much.
Yeah.
Nicest guy I ever meet. Todd
Yeah.
Gilliland. You know, if you know Todd Gilliland, you know him and his dad raised him so well.
Yeah.
Right? Like this guy, you know, he may not have his weeks. He's probably, you know, that guy who's gonna, when he finishes top 10, he's gonna have a party. He's gonna love it.
Yeah.
I remember hearing him after Martinsville last year, and he had finished great. And I talked to him. I was like, dude, this is good. It's a good momentum boost. And just for the record, those guys that, when they can celebrate the small wins, those are the best people to hang around.
Yeah.
And then they believe in themselves. And
The
I think
appreciation.
as an athlete, like I know I'm speaking on it a lot, but as an athlete, you as a driver, the guys that enjoy
Whoa,
the
am I not an
small wins-
athlete?
No, we can talk about that later.
Okay.
No, yeah.
10-4.
But for the sake of it, like when you're having those rough moments where the car is just terrible for 5 weeks, and your crew chief's chemistry with you is just off, and it's like
Mhm.
you and your crew, everybody's just rough. It's like, dude, we can't break out of this hole. Then you break out together. If you're not cocky with it, but you're a family and you're
Yeah.
confident and you're loving and you're believing, like there's so much in that's good for growth.
Yeah.
I mean, look at 2311. That lawsuit, they won it, and now they're this powerhouse where
Yeah.
they're like, you know what? We're together. We won. We did this. Let's
Mhm.
go out and fight. And they're not cocky. I mean, you've heard Michael Jordan's interviews. This guy's loving it.
He's the GOAT. He
is the
like,
GOAT.
okay, we're talking about the GOAT. He is the GOAT.
Yeah, like you
I
think
don't
of
care
Michael
what nobody
Jordan,
says
know,
about
yeah.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Jordan's a GOAT.
Look at what the guy's doing,
Yeah.
right? Like he's and if you look at the way he interviews, he's just like, man, I can't believe it. This is so cool. Like, yeah, I only put the
Loves
funding in, but this is the coolest thing ever. And like, he believes, you know, he got cut from his high school basketball team, right?
There you go.
I've been cut. I've been looked down upon. I've been disrespected. I've had people misunderstand my drive, and like,
Yeah.
I want to be him. I want to be the Michael Jordan. I don't want to be like him. You know, the like Mike thing. Like I don't
Be
want
like
to be
Mike.
like him.
Yeah.
But I want to build off of that doubt and that people giving up. It's just
Mhm.
like you want to grow from it, and
Yeah.
it's not in a cocky way. It's just confidence. So
Yeah, and it's like I can look back
Mhm.
on my dirt days when I was a younger kid, and I was racing, and it was like, I don't even remember what year it was. I was racing box stock, and you know, we just couldn't lose. I mean, we were winning
Yeah.
every week. I had $1,000 bounties set on my head to, you know, for people to come out and beat me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, we were just dominating. And it was like every week we showed up to the racetrack on Wednesday night, and it was like, I knew I'm going to win. Like, don't matter if I start last, if I start first, I'm going to beat all of you. Sorry, but
Yeah.
I'm going to win.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it was just that swagger.
Hocevar. Carson Hocevar.
Yeah.
But look at it. That's
Yeah.
why I like hearing your story. I like hearing like what you've
Yeah.
done, because you have this story where you have had the success.
Yeah.
You are a driver. You have talent, but people have probably misunderstood where you've come from, right?
Mhm.
And
For sure.
to know that you can win in multiple cars, and we've seen it.
Yeah.
You know, from the Indy side to the dirt side. Dirt's pretty impressive. I mean, all these guys in NASCAR, they're dirt drivers.
Yeah.
All these good ones. So
Yeah.
I look at your story and I get really excited. It kind of pumps me up, because it's like, you know what, just can we get some belief in this kid? Can somebody come here and
Yeah.
can they say, look, like this Sam kid has proven it. Just give us a shot. Give us an opportunity. And
We'll get there.
I think
keep working hard.
I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But yeah, I mean, it cycles. It's
Mhm.
You'll have your times, you'll have your downs, but
We have good days, we have bad days, but it's about how we pick ourselves up.
the
and keep
growth,
growing.
the
Yeah.
big picture growth is
Yeah.
what we're looking for. So it's
So
great.
okay, so let's kind of
Feed into that a little bit.
yeah. So let's talk about TJM. So let's talk about it. So you know, after you know growing up as an athlete yourself, being looked at, you know, as a super successful golfer, how does that shape you into who you are today? But also, how does that lead into TJM and what you believe for that?
Yeah. So, I mean, TJM management.
Yeah.
Right. Marketing.
Mhm.
I'm grateful to have the dad that I have.
Yeah.
Right. That's the biggest thing. And people are gonna have mixed emotions about that. Oh, it's Josh's son. Oh, this, that. That guy has talked to me and said words to people that have wowed me of like, holy cow, that's so professional. That's
Yeah.
so inspirational. And there's a feeling, and I give it all to my dad. He's a giver.
Yeah.
He's not a receiver.
Yeah.
And I think recently I figured out that's what I am.
Mhm.
I love to give. Like I said, if I want something, I'll give 110%.
Yeah.
Whether it's a person, it's a sport, I'm gonna give. And
This chair is really uncomfortable.
yeah, I can tell you're squirming around a little
It's
bit.
so uncomfortable. Dad, what the heck, man?
But like for what my dad's done, it's inspirational. I would say that if my dad walked around a NASCAR garage, I think 85% of the garage would be able to know who he was.
Yeah.
And he's not cocky. He's the least cocky guy I ever meet.
He's so cool.
He's just like the
He's just a
average
little
guy.
dude that just sends it.
I mean, there's a picture of him. I can't remember who it was. It was a past president.
Yeah.
And he's like, he just sent it to me. He's like, dude, this guy likes my suit. And I'm like, you know how crazy that is that you just sent me that picture, right? And to
Yeah,
him,
your dad's really
he's
cool.
and to him, he's living his life, and he's talking to people. That's what he loves to do. He's out right now in Phoenix, like having a blast. Getting to communicate and build relationships. And what that does for me and TJM, like I use TJM as a learning experience, and
Yeah.
me and you have
We've
talked about
we've
this.
talked about it.
We want to show people that we've grown up in the life where we know what we can be. We know our potential.
Yeah.
And what that means is, we're going to go out and we're going to try to find relationships. We're
Mhm.
going to go out and we're going to try to get people some money and some rides and these opportunities because we believe in these kids who, can't get to where they want to be because they didn't have those connections outright.
Right.
Like we may have the connections, but
The funding.
we don't have the funding for it. We
Right.
don't have the millions and millions to go out and do these things. And we know we have the drive. And that's why I think TJM speaks these words to me is it's like, I want to be able to give back. I want to be able to show people like, look, if you have what it takes, come on, work with me. And you're the first.
Yeah.
You're the
Obviously,
first.
like we're doing this together, and we're gonna try and find sponsorship and all that kind of stuff, and we want to get our Raptors one day, but
Yeah.
it's car guys. We're car guys at heart, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel that
How does it make you feel? Like, how do you feel that,
Yeah.
that you're a part of something at a young age where we're already respected in the racing world?
Yeah, look, I think
How
you're
does
the
that
sum of
affect you?
you're the sum of the people you surround yourself with.
100%.
I think that you and I are very much alike in that way, where we just will work as hard as we need to get it done.
Yeah.
We've been nonstop on.
Yeah, already.
We've been what? I've seen you the past 3 days in a row,
And
Yeah.
phone calls like crazy.
and phone calls like crazy. So, it's cool, and you're probably tired of me, but it's fine. You'll get over it.
It's a good tired.
Yeah, it's a good.
Um,
Oh, okay, that's
but
nice.
yeah,
That makes me feel
yeah.
better about myself.
I mean, I just like it strings back to where we've come from.
Yeah.
Like
And our fathers, like
I
your
give so
dad
much
and
grace
my
to your
dad.
dad and my dad.
Yeah,
It's
our dads have worked so hard to afford the lives that we have, and not only just how hard they've worked, but how hard they've worked at raising us and teaching us
Oh.
at a young age how to speak and how to talk and how to treat people the right way.
The little things, the elbows on the table at dinner, like
Yeah,
I used to get so mad at my dad. I'd be like, dude, why does that matter? Why does it matter? And then I go out and I see these guys and they're the most fancy people you've ever seen. And it's like, holy cow, he was right, And I take so much pride in that. And, my dad at the end of the day, you walk into my house and he's going to be in these long pairs of shorts and an oversized t-shirt watching his football. Right. And it's like, he's still this person at heart, but when he goes out, he can flip that switch and he will be this guy who is so motivational. And I believe that
yeah,
he's given that to me, and your dad has given that to you. He's given you that
Yeah.
professional standpoint. I love the life that you live because your dad makes you earn it. He makes you earn it. My dad makes me earn it.
I would not be anywhere near the person I am without my mom and dad and how they've shaped me to be as a young kid and made me grow up fast to where it was like I knew I could talk to a sponsor or talk to somebody in the right way and look them in the eye.
I like that, the mom and dad part, because we're the same here. Like,
Yeah.
my mom is so like she gives me that lovey-dovey part, and it's that.
Yeah,
It's
you
that,
get
you know
two way
what?
different
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
From
Your dad
parents.
is like, come on, let's do this, and your dad
Get
and
you
your
in the
mom's
butt,
the one
yeah.
that's like soft, like, hey, look, it's all gonna be good. Like,
Mhm.
it's good to have that mix, right?
Yeah,
That creates a good kid.
Yeah.
And if we want to get back on the topic of TJM,
Yeah.
like,
what's
It-
our
in-
okay?
yeah,
what's our
yeah.
goal?
So
What's our goal?
okay,
I know our goal. You
All right,
know our goal.
announcement.
But they
So
don't
it's
know our
like-
goal.
Sam has races this year, and
Yep.
and people know racing's expensive. But I believe that partnerships are
We're
fun.
trying to plant a money tree in the backyard is really what we're
Yeah,
trying
we're
to
trying to
do,
get
so
some
we
money
can
to
keep,
grow.
growing it.
Yeah.
So that's what
A
we're trying to
couple,
do.
rob a couple banks in between. Yeah.
Yeah, that can't be that hard.
But so
Disclaimer: we're not robbing
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bank.
The best part about this is, like, I have grown up, and we talk about parents, and we could talk about it forever.
Yeah.
When I see my dad shine, when I see managers shine, when I see agents shine, it's the relationships they have with the people who put their name on the race car, who
Mhm.
sponsor these kids, and like most of them are going to be family friends and family money
Yeah, or the
and
dad just has
money,
billions and can just
and
send
it
it.
doesn't matter. Yeah,
Right.
but nothing against those guys
No,
because their
I mean,
parents
yeah.
work so hard,
Yeah,
right? And people don't
honest,
understand
yeah.
that. They give the kids with money crap, but like their dads work so hard. Like they
Mhm.
barely got to see their parents and whatever. But for the sake of what we're doing, like the relationship part of this is so cool because we talk about fan engagement.
Yeah.
If I could bring a sponsor to a racetrack and he's never been to a race before and he comes and he
The
smells
amount of
those
fun.
engines and hears it and you got him, right next to the pit stall, like
Take him to the track in our, the car we want to buy,
yeah, like
our street legal NASCAR.
we've got big goals, big plans.
Yeah.
And we know that if we can achieve them, like it could be something major.
Yeah, for sure.
And like the best part about this TJM deal is, we want to be great on our own. We want
Mhm.
to show that we have this respect from people. We're
Yep.
young, but we've been taught everything by our parents,
Mhm.
by, the people we surround ourselves with. That's big.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the end of the day, like whether this becomes the biggest thing in the world or not, we know that it's going to be able to share this level of responsibility
Yep.
and confidence in ourselves that we
Work
hope other
ethic.
people can look at us for.
Yeah.
Right. We look at kids going down the pipelines of different manufacturers. Like I hope that if this grows to a point one day where somebody's like, "Hey Sam, come on," and I'll be like, "You know what? You earned it. Go ahead." Right. And then if someone asks me to come along another way, we do it.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day,
It's a learning
it's a
ground
win-win.
for us. Yeah.
It's a win-win, and it's a learning experience that we can figure out what we want to do with this and how we want to grow it. And if it works, we can show people that we mean business. We want to win. We're not here for, the money. We're here for the passion and the
Yeah.
trophies and the experiences and, the success and
Mhm.
the relief of getting this win. And I know you can touch on that. I know you know what I'm talking about when it
Yep.
comes to, it's not really about the money. Like, yes, it is. It's a
Yeah,
career.
it's a career. At the end of
But
the day,
you're
yeah,
gonna
I
make
need
money in
to
your
be
career.
able to
You're
afford
gonna.
to live. But at the end of the day, it's less about that. It's more about man, I get to go out and I get
run
to
a
strap
race car
myself in a race car
and drive.
drive my ass off
Yeah.
and race against these guys, some of the best guys in the world.
Mhm.
And I get to go out there and I get to do it every week. And I get to, try and win every week
Mhm.
and work my butt off to do it. So, that to me, that's racing. And, some of these guys that race, they love the idea of being a race car driver and, all that affords.
Yeah.
Don't let the ice go down your shirt. It's okay.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. It's good.
But they love the life that racing affords them and the fame and all that stuff. But for me, it's, and I know you feel the same way because I saw you at Echo Park and you were loving it. And
Yeah.
for me, I love racing.
Mhm.
I love everything racing means that it affords me just the pure strapping in the race car and going
I'm jealous of that.
and being free.
I'm jealous of that.
Yeah.
Like
We're going to get you in a race car. one
Well,
day.
I'll be honest. Like, I've always dreamed of it, right?
Right, yeah.
iRacing and all that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when I go to a race shop
Wait till the esports team
and I
comes
go,
out.
when I go look at a race car in a race shop, like I work at the U.S. Legends race shop right now, and
Yeah.
like my mornings are there, and my night times are with you, trying to figure out what we can do.
How we're going to find a
ourselves.
sponsor to go
Right?
racing.
I mean, I'm working 24/7.
Yeah.
I'm always trying really hard, and
Shout out
that's
Molecule.
a passion. Yeah.
We'll do that at the
Um,
end.
But like I go see these race cars and all I think about is sitting in there and what it feels like to flip the switch, right?
Yep.
Fully geared up, 40 cars around you. Like
Mhm.
I've always dreamed of, man, being a Kevin Harvick, being a Brad Keselowski, a Kyle Busch back in the day. You're strapping in and there's 100,000 fans at a racetrack screaming, but the
You can
engines
hear
are
it.
roaring and it's like there's something about that passion
Mm-hmm.
that I really think people when they come to the racetrack they'll feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we talk about this, it's not really about the money. We want to win races. We talk about the Rolex. Having a Rolex start
Yeah.
is if your dad could go to sleep at night knowing his son just racing the Rolex, he could die peacefully, right? You went to bed at night, you die peacefully, especially if you went out there and you race your butt off, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that it's about what it is.
Yeah.
It's about the bigger picture of, man, I just raced in the Indy 500. I just did that, right? I got to start in F1. Like,
Yeah.
you can touch on that because you know what I'm talking about.
Well,
Their
it's that
specialty.
moment. It's that like, look, Mom, I made it moment.
Mhm.
I talk about that in every podcast I've done it with Connor. I've done it with, Andres and LeVar and Jared, and, now we're here, but it's looking back and it's saying, man, we made it. We did it.
Mhm.
And to be able to, call my dad and say, Dad, just sign this contract,
That's the goal.
man, we did it. We made
That's
it.
the goal.
That's the goal. And like to be able to just be able to give my parents that
satisfaction.
and I know that they've sacrificed so much for me. So to be able to give back to them and for the years to come and to just be able to, as a, whether it's buying them a car, whatever it is, right? It's just being able to say thank you in that way, because I don't think words can ever be enough, can mean enough to say thank you.
It's racing's hard.
Yeah, it's
one of the worst things when it comes to racing is the safety, obviously, and the stress that puts on family members. Like,
yeah, sorry, Mom.
I know,
love you.
There's a pay from that. There's the not physical pay. It's the satisfaction of my son got in a race car. He just drove 200 miles per hour, whatever. He won a race and he got out of it safely.
Yeah.
And he came over and he gives his mom a hug, and he's in her arms. She's in love. She's like, oh my gosh, my baby's safe. Now he's a winner.
Yeah.
Right. There's that feeling that you get that makes you, that really makes racing worth it.
Yeah.
And I really think that's what we want to get more of.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we're working for.
No, and I think what we're starting and TJM, and it's going to be something big. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to do this and work our butts off and learn everything. It's all about learning.
Yeah.
And learning how to talk to people and companies and to put money on the table to go racing. I mean, shoot, we're trying to go to the racetrack every week. That's it.
I want to be 20 years old and getting on a plane with you, flying out of Charlotte and saying, hey, we're going to the racetrack.
We're going to the racetrack, man.
We got a
chance
chance to win.
Yeah.
We're going to win this race. So it's like there's that racer in me, and there's that racer in you.
Yeah.
It's like I know being a golfer, like the days I got to leave school and fly to a tournament, holy
So cool.
cow. You're like,
hey, I got to leave early today. We're going to,
like, or
so
even
cool.
playing like high school sports, if you're a basketball player, you get to leave school early some days. You get to leave school, and it gives you that fulfillment of like, you know what, I am worth it. I'm worth something. And the self-belief and the worth and all that, that's so important.
Yeah. Not having the self-doubt.
It's the biggest
It's so hard.
It's
so difficult. Jared Audrick had in our last episode, shout out Jared, he had a great way of talking about the self-doubt and how to, compartmentalize it. And cause look, man, and we're going to go out there some days and be like, can I really do this? Am I good enough? Talk to Connor about it too. And he had good things to say. And it's just like, you have to be able to tell yourself, and it's when you're winning, you have the swagger of like, man, I can do this.
You got to be careful, right?
But when you're losing and you're not winning, and you're, there's hard days like Sebring. We had a really hard weekend. We had a lot of issues and a lot of problems, and we're working hard, to fix them and to grow and to get better and to win. And like it's like going into a slump. Like we're second half of the season last year, and like now Sebring, it's just been really tough when we're trying to climb out and pick ourselves back up and get where we belong. P5 is not where we belong. P6 is not where we belong. We belong up front and on the front row. So it's all about how you can pull yourself out of the rut and how you can keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I could second that. Like anytime you feel doubted, or anytime you feel like somebody has that one up on you, where it's like, hey man, you lost to me. Like they're not going to say it to their face, but you can see it in some people, right? And
the satisfaction,
it burns the fire in you.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you're humble about it and you're a boat, you're thinking like, you know what? That's life.
Right? I just got to work harder.
Yeah. And at the same time, your effort. We talk about what happens when you have a bad day, a bad shot. When you have a bad race, how hard you've worked to get here. Your efforts. Like
the hardest part is like when you've worked so hard to get something and then you lose, you're like,
what happened? It's like,
all right, I got to work even harder, and I don't know how I'm going to work even harder, but I got to figure it out. And it's like us with TJM right now. We're emailing companies, we're hitting people up, and
people don't know us, right?
And getting, we were talking about it's so funny. We were talking about this the other day, and so Jonathon he sends me this text, and I have it as a screenshot because it's so funny.
Yeah.
And Jonathon goes, I'm on Instagram and I'm DMing a couple of these companies,
Just trying to get some phone numbers.
trying to get
whatever.
some phone numbers, and I see they're active on Instagram and they're not answering, and they've left me undelivered for a day.
Yeah.
That's worse than this is what ghosting must feel like as
For
an
adults,
adult.
for a businessman.
It's worse than getting
you know,
ghosted by a girl.
And these
It
days,
is.
yeah, and in these days, like the ghosting thing, the phone thing, like obviously, like personally, we're lucky we don't have to really struggle with that. We have had our relationships and they've been good. And like I go look at my phone and I'm thinking, they respond and then I
Yeah.
say, okay, cool, like is your marketing manager? Is he in town? Is he ready? And then it gets left unseen and they're active
You're
and
just
you're
like,
just like,
oh,
wow, we were
dude."
so close,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
it gives you that passion. We talk about giving 110%. You're just like, all right, next one.
We're on the phone every day talking about, okay, here's what we're doing. We're gonna
Yeah.
hit this person up. We're gonna do this company. We're gonna do that. Like, there's a passion and drive that goes
Mhm.
into it that I don't.
But it's
really no one
hard.
sees.
It's hard because it's a start,
Yeah.
right? And
we're starting
people
from
and
zero.
it might seem desperate to some,
hmm
but it's not. In reality, I want to have a partner. I want
Yeah.
to have somebody come to the racetrack and I can be like, come watch this. Come look at this. Watch this pit stop. It's
'Cause
gonna
it's
blow
so
your mind,
cool.
right? Like
Yeah.
I see it as obviously it's a help to help
Mhm.
us race. It's a help to boost your career, boost
Yeah.
my career, and at the end of the day, it is a cool sport to be a part of.
Yeah, but we're really like, if you look at it, we're not really working a day in our lives. We're not working. We're having
No,
fun.
We're having fun trying to have more fun.
We're trying to make money and having fun.
Mm-hmm.
If you just break it down, like keeping it simple, like my crew chief Mark Durgan, he was like, "You need the KISS theory, dude. Keep it simple, stupid."
Yeah.
But it's just like we're trying to make money by having fun.
Yeah.
And you know what? Us talking about this stuff, and when we got that hit back on Instagram and the phone number, and I called you,
We've gotten
like,
some. It's
just
like
fun.
oh
like,
yeah.
So
It's the relief factor.
yeah.
Right.
So trying to try and take the stress off of the financial stress off to go racing is really what we're trying to do. And
With the partnerships.
yeah, the loyalty partner.
I mean, look at this.
Like, okay, look,
Molecule.
yeah,
We'll start right.
yeah. So like, here's what we're trying to do is it's about long-term relationships, like Redline Oil
Yeah.
and Stilo, the whole Holly brand. So I've been wearing a Stilo helmet and a Simpson race suit for 10 years. I've been with Redline Oil for 12 years. And, that's the kind of relationships we want to build is long-term sponsorships and partnerships with people to where we can, grow together.
Yeah.
And move up the ladder
Yeah,
together.
totally.
So like, okay, Molecule. I brought a bottle down here because I wanted to do a little representation and just say thank you because now being a Molecule athlete this year is really cool and work with Kyle and, all those guys over at Molecule. I've actually known Kyle a long time. But now, so if you want a discount on Molecule, 15% off, use code SAM15 at checkout, and you can get 15% off anything on Molecule because, like, okay, you can't wash any of your race stuff without Molecule. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Right.
the right way. They've got car detail. They got all kinds of stuff. So, helmet spray, all that stuff. So, go check them out, Molecule Sports. But,
Mhm.
just partnerships like that where you can grow and together.
It's useful.
Yeah.
It's useful, right?
Yeah.
We're car guys. We like clean
love
stuff, right?
cars.
I texted you right
Next
before I got
gen.
here. I said, hey, can I possibly clean my car if it starts to rain? And
We got some next gen stuff outside.
yeah. So it's like
let's do it.
so and that's my thing is the partnership standpoint. It's awesome, right? I want people to get to the point to where they want to work with us because they see how fun it is.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be like, oh wow, these guys do a good
We're
job.
enjoying it. Yeah.
They have fun when they
We work
promote us.
hard.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that, it always comes back to the racetrack, race day, right? You watch a car go 160 miles per hour on a turn, you're probably gonna be like, holy cow.
You're crapping yourself.
Yeah, you're like, what? How does that make sense? And,
Yeah.
And I believe that this can be something big with connections and all that. And once
You
it
can't
starts,
see that on TV either.
No.
Like you don't get that same feeling when you watch it on TV.
Okay, example. M&M's. When you think of M&M's, who do you think of?
Kyle Busch.
Lowe's, Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay. These guys signed these lifelong deals per se, right?
Mhm.
And what they do is they're so known by it. They promote it so well. They, their life is based around it.
Yeah.
And I see that every day. You got Carson Hocevar with Chili's.
Mhm.
That guy lives and dies for Chili's,
Yeah.
right? But that's what he does. He loves it. It's not that he does it because he's like, oh, I got to do it for the money. He's embracing it.
Yeah.
He's loving it. He's promoting it. He's having
That's what it's
fun
all
with it.
about.
And
That's what it's all about.
it's
It's
just
about
the fun.
loyal, long-term partnerships and growing that. So, we'll keep working hard.
We'll be
and
good.
Keep growing it. So,
Yeah.
shout out TJM.
yeah, right.
So-
Should be good.
So we'll kind
Should be
of
fun.
we'll move into the last segment here. I've got a couple of questions. So,
Okay.
what's one thing you wish you learned 10 years earlier?
let's see, so I'd be like 9 years old.
Yeah. Like looking back on young JT.
Man, it's something mental,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah.
I personally was one of those kids like, oh, I can't wait to be older, right? Can't wait
Yeah.
to get my license and drive.
Yeah.
Okay, time's flying, right? I'm 19 years old, and all of a sudden I
Holy
have an
crap.
opportunity to,
Yeah.
if the TJM stuff takes the leap, it takes the leap, and all of a sudden I'm 20 years old
It will.
at a racetrack with my best friend, one of my best friends racing, right? And if I could tell myself to slow down when I was younger and not want to go to bed just to wake up the next day to speed it up, like
Yeah.
that's what I would do. I would tell
Enjoy it
myself,
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
to have that fun.
Yeah.
Right?
I talked about this in the last episode. We were sitting. I was back at a go-kart race at GoPro or Trackhouse Motorplex, formerly known as GoPro Motorplex, and we were sitting up there. It was the Miami Grands were in town, and there were a bunch of people in town. So like
Oh,
Paulie
yeah.
Massimino and Brandon Jarzcrack, all these guys that I raced with growing up, and Brandon worked on my stuff and helped engineer, and he was racing too, and he was like a mentor to me. Paulie, older than me, mentored them to me as well. I was standing there with Brandon's dad, Eddie, and there's a picture of Eddie holding me up on my shoulders one day up against the wall
Yeah.
because I was so little and I wasn't listening. But we were standing there, and I was talking to Eddie, and it was like, so it was a shootout. At the end of every day, they had a shootout for a different class, X30, KA,
Yeah.
and you would get like $6,000 was the pots, which is huge for a go-kart race.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah,
So
totally.
the shootout was you'd have tents all on grid, and you'd do your heat race practice, qualify a heat race, whatever, and then you'd come in, you'd make adjustments to your car. You had like 15 minutes in between each session. It was super fast paced, and like everybody was thrashing to fix their go-kart if they crashed, whatever it was. And I was sitting there with Eddie because they had all their tents lined up, Brandon and Paulie and all those guys. Paulie was racing. I think he won that. He won them. Yeah, he did a really good job. And I was sitting there, and I said to Eddie, I'm like, man, this is fun. This is like no expectation.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was younger, there was not really an expectation, but there wasn't.
The care.
Yeah, there was just no expectation. It was just fun. This is where it all started. It was just, that's all it was. And I don't know. I look back at that, and I wish I enjoyed that more as a kid too. Going kind of like what you were saying.
Just slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, slow it down for sure. So, okay, so if you could leave listeners with one challenge for this week, what would it be?
Be happy.
Be happy.
And I say that, and it's very, very bland. My grandfather, his motto is keep smiling.
Yeah.
Right. Every time we'd go to a golf tournament, we'd go out and get dinner, and after a tournament, whether it was a good day or bad day,
Mm-hmm.
every time the waiter was there, just keep
Yeah.
smiling, keep smiling, keep smiling. Everybody saw it,
Yeah.
keep smiling. And like we're gonna have our hard days,
Mhm.
100%. People are gonna doubt us. People are gonna give up. People are gonna say, "Oh, I don't have it. I can't
Yeah.
do it." Right. At the end of the day, like you got one shot at life. I feel like you gotta just give it all. Right. You gotta not give up. You gotta.
I thought
be
you were about to
happy.
start quoting Eminem.
I could have. But no, it's just you just got to think the positive. Like being Christian, right?
Mhm.
You believe in that path, and
Yeah.
I'm not forcing anything on anybody, but there is some sort of comfort in knowing that it's all going to work out, whether it's as good as you think it could be or not.
God's
You're
got
always
us.
going to be okay, and I
Yeah.
think that on my hard days, if I can really power through and feel that, even when I feel like the world's crushing down on me, I think
Yeah.
it's great. So I really think
I
that's
love
big.
that. Yeah, and it's just God's got us, and you just got to keep moving forward,
Mhm.
man. So, all
It's
right.
special.
I the Jack Neal podcast always does like, what's the best advice you've ever received? Whatever. But we're gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you know where this is going.
Okay.
If you could drive a car one last time before you died, if you were gonna die tomorrow, what would the car be?
So I'm not a race car driver.
So you get a street
So
car.
I get a street car.
Okay.
But I get one car.
Yeah.
And for me, like ever since I was growing up,
Do you
NASCAR
want a
has
race car?
had my
You're
life.
enough in racing. You want a race car?
I could do one car, just one,
Okay.
because it could be both.
Okay.
You could make it street
Deal.
legal, right?
Okay. Oh gosh.
So when I was younger, like my first time, if I can remember when I first saw NASCAR, when I first saw
Mhm.
racing, obviously Lightning McQueen was big, and
Yeah.
cars got me into it, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a Kevin Harvick scheme like sits in my brain, and
Mhm.
obviously my connection with Kevin, like him being a family to me at points in my life.
Mhm.
The number 29 really
Mm.
speaks to me, right? Because that
Yeah.
was my era, right?
Yeah.
Number 4, he went to Stuart Haas and
Yeah.
won his championship, whatever. But there's a vivid memory of me sitting on my counter, like maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe way before that, actually, like 15, way long ago. We had this little tiny TV on my counter, in my kitchen, and my dad was at the racetrack, and Kevin in that Shell car, that 29, I
Yeah.
think it was Shell, yeah. that 29 yellow and red, like that speaks to me, to the point to where my grandfather for Christmas bought me a like 1/16th scale RC car, like as big as this table, of that paint
Dang.
scheme. It was my favorite thing ever, and I really have something for that car. So I think any version of that 29 car, really, like any version will work for me. Like, yeah, that COT.
That thing.
I mean, anything in that era, like that speaks
Instead
to
of
me.
B-roll, we're gonna do Sam roll.
Yeah. But that's it. And
That's it
we
right
talk
there.
about street legal. Maybe we hint at something
We
for the
saw
future.
that on okay. We were looking up Bring a Trailer the other day, and we saw this. It was like it was 11 grand. It was a
Just realized that's the same car.
It was that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the
Yeah, Bring a
Car of
Trailer
Tomorrow.
has a Car of Tomorrow roller.
yeah.
And,
Does anybody want to fund this?
Yeah,
you know,
we'll
till we
put
get
your name
by?
on the
We'll
car.
Put your name all over the car. It'll be a sponsored street legal
Race
Cars
car.
of Tomorrow race car.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
I want to do it. Yeah.
And for the sake
it
of
for a thrill
what
ride.
it is, just
No,
being
you know
a
what we'll do?
kid.
We'll get Jerry Nadeau up in here, and he'll take
Yeah.
people for joyrides in a
Yeah.
Cars of Tomorrow street legal car.
Yeah,
But
no, but to kind of finish what I was saying, like growing up in racing, being on the not the race car side,
Yeah.
right? The marketing side, the management side, and seeing all that speaks to me. It's cool
mhm.
to actually sit in a race car. I've had opportunities to sit in some of Kevin's greatest cars, some of these big winners. I got to sit in their cars, right?
Mhm.
But I've always wanted to flip that switch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just one time to feel it under my foot, and I've been close. I've had cars myself that are cool. They're loud. They're fun. But I think that's it.
You're
I think
driving
that's what
one.
it is.
Yeah.
I think we could do it. I think
One
that
day
might happen one day.
We'll get you in a
So
race car one day.
yeah. But last thing I gotta say is, for the sake of what we talked about, being happy, believing in yourself, whatever. TJM, like if there's anybody out there wants to take a shot on us, I promise, we have the respect level. We know what it takes. We've seen it. We might be young, but the passion's there. 19 going on 35, having 20 years in the sport, right? So it's
Progress makes performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the podcast new slogan. We came up with that a while ago. It's like,
Or like positivity.
well, I'll find it. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
No, whatever.
Positivity.
Positivity brings performance, whatever.
Yeah.
We want people to take chances on us because we know, having these hearts, it's like we know what we want. We know we have the passion to drive.
Yeah. And we'll work hard to get it.
We can do it.
Yeah.
So I think it's big. Thank you.
Thank
I
you for
appreciate
coming
it.
on. So this is the Performance Based Podcast. I'm Sam Corey with Jonathon Jones. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.